500 meters underground, in a frozen chamber carved from solid rock, a remote-controlled machine extracts black dust that contains enough concentrated energy to power 100 homes for an entire year. This isn't coal, oil, or any conventional fuel. This is uranium ore, and what happens to it next involves some of the most carefully controlled industrial processes on Earth. The journey from radioactive rock to nuclear fuel requires precision that makes Swiss watchmaking look casual. Today, we're following uranium through its complete transformation, from the deepest mines in Canada to the reactor cores that generate electricity for millions. You'll see how miners work remotely to avoid radiation exposure, how centrifuges separate atomic isotopes using pure physics, and how a pellet the size of a peanut produces the same energy as 800 kilograms of coal. We're taking you inside facilities most people will never see, where every step is monitored and every gram is accounted for. The uranium we're tracking comes from Saskatchewan, Canada, home to the world's highest grade uranium deposits. But here's what makes this operation extraordinary. The ore is so rich that it glows with natural radioactivity, and the groundwater surrounding it is under such pressure that engineers must literally freeze the Earth solid before they can safely extract anything. The mining site looks more like a space operation than traditional excavation. Getting to this uranium requires a preparation process that takes months. Before a single gram of ore comes to the surface, crews must install a network of freezing tubes that transform the surrounding geology into a controlled environment. The scale is massive, 200 individual tubes, each requiring 8 days to install, creating a frozen barrier that holds back millions of gallons of pressurized groundwater while miners work below. This is where the operation becomes critical. If the freezing system fails, pressurized groundwater floods the mining area instantly, destroying equipment worth millions and making extraction impossible for years. The calcium chloride brine must maintain minus 30 degrees Celsius constantly. Temperature sensors monitor every section because a single warm spot can compromise the entire frozen barrier. Workers have exactly 20 minutes of air circulation before atmospheric conditions become dangerous, and remote operation isn't just preferred, it's mandatory for survival. The extraction begins with a pilot hole that guides massive drilling equipment to the ore body. Every piece of rock that comes up gets scanned immediately for radioactivity levels. The scanner reads 15% uranium content, exceptionally high grade. Any ore testing below 10% gets rejected and sent back underground because processing low-grade material isn't economically viable. The conveyor system that moves approved ore must be completely sealed to prevent radioactive dust from contaminating the air supply. Watch what happens when raw uranium ore meets industrial processing. The rock gets crushed, ground into fine sand, mixed with water, and pumped to the surface as a thick slurry. This mixture travels 80 kilometers to a processing mill in specially designed trucks that can contain radioactive materials. At the mill, the transformation accelerates. Acid dissolves the uranium while leaving unwanted rock to settle at the bottom of massive tanks. What emerges is a yellow solution containing pure uranium compounds. The uranium solution enters a complex purification sequence that removes every trace of unwanted elements. First, chemical reactions separate uranium from dissolved rock minerals. Then the solution gets heated to 850 degrees Celsius, transforming liquid uranium into gas, a critical step because only gaseous uranium can be enriched. The gas enters centrifuges spinning at incredible speeds, using centrifugal force to separate uranium-235 from uranium-238, based on tiny differences in atomic weight. Each centrifuge operates at precise temperatures and pressures. If vibrations exceed tolerance, the entire enrichment process stops. If gas pressure drops, contamination spreads through the system. If centrifuge speed varies, isotope separation becomes impossible, and months of processing get wasted. The enriched uranium emerges as black powder, concentrated in 210-liter steel drums. Here's the moment where everything can go wrong. The enriched uranium powder must be converted to uranium trioxide, then to uranium dioxide, the exact chemical form required for nuclear fuel. During this conversion, temperature control becomes critical. Too hot, and the uranium oxidizes incorrectly, creating unusable compounds. Too cool, and the chemical reaction stalls, leaving impurities that make the fuel dangerous in a reactor. The margin for error is measured in degrees, and there's no way to reverse a failed conversion. The uranium dioxide gets pressed into pellets under thousands of tons of pressure, creating fuel elements the size of peanuts. But before those pellets can power anything, they must survive a 24-hour furnace treatment that removes every microscopic pore and achieves exact density specifications. Robotic arms load the pellets into zirconium tubes, metal chosen because neutrons pass through it freely during nuclear fission. Automated welders seal each tube with precision that ensures no radioactive material can leak. The finished fuel rods contain enough uranium to generate 1 million kilowatt-hours of electricity. Every fuel rod gets weighed to confirm exact uranium content before leaving the facility. Even a gram of deviation means the rod gets rejected because reactor cores require perfect balance for controlled nuclear reactions. Radiation levels get measured continuously. The fuel rods emit minimal radiation at this stage, but any unexpected reading indicates contamination or improper processing. A single defective rod inserted into a reactor core can disrupt the nuclear chain reaction, potentially shutting down a power plant that supplies electricity to 500,000 people. The finished fuel assemblies travel to nuclear power plants in specially designed containers that can withstand extreme impacts without releasing radioactive materials. At the plant, 480 reactor tubes can hold up to a dozen fuel rods each, 5,260 rods total when fully loaded. The insertion process requires precise positioning because nuclear fission begins immediately when rods reach critical mass. Control rods automatically adjust reaction speed, and if temperature or pressure readings exceed safe limits, the reactor shuts down automatically. After 1 year in the reactor core, spent fuel rods become too hot and radioactive for immediate disposal, requiring storage in water pools for 10 years before safe handling. Deep beneath the surface of these pools, more than 700,000 radioactive fuel rods wait for their energy to dissipate. A reminder that the power of the atom comes with responsibilities that extend far beyond the electricity it generates. The same forces that split atoms to light our cities also demand respect, precision, and constant vigilance. Subscribe to see more industrial processes that shape our world, and let us know what manufacturing secrets you want us to investigate next.